Do you wanna switch to still?
Okay. All right. Everybody act totally normal.
Yeah, it's fine. Everything's fine. We're not nervous. No
Hey,
music.
we can see questions there.
Yeah, but it might be a little. Can
Hey,
you see
we're
that?
on.
We're on.
We're
All right,
live.
everybody,
We're
so
live.
Okay.
Okay.
calm down, knuckleheads. We're broadcasting.
Yeah.
We don't have
Three
music
Stooges
this
thing.
time.
That's fine. We don't need to play in.
Yeah.
The people they listen to music from the moment they get up. Their phones are going and stuff. You know what? Oddly enough, they're going to tune in two guys with guitars today and just kind of get a little quiet. Just a little
zang
chat.
chow,
A little
a little
zen.
zen.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Now, welcome everybody. Welcome to Two Guys with Guitars. Of course, it's three guys without guitars today. Who chose the title of this show? There's always an exception. All right.
lot of
So we got a
variation.
great friend, producer Daniel here. He's
Hi there.
he's got center stage. This is Daniel McLaughlin, and he is going to. Here's how it works. I'm Big Bird today. Okay, basically, you understand? I'm Big Bird. I'm like the innocent. I don't know. I'm learning. I wake up. I don't know about stuff. And this whole episode of Sesame Street is going to be about Daniel teaching me about pedals and pedal boards. I know this sounds weird. I've been playing professionally. I'm Eugene Edwards over here. That's Dylan Caligiuri over there. For like 2.5 years now. And actually, it's been decades. And I still feel inept about a pedal board.
Well, about a lot of things.
Well, yeah. I'm just going to restrict it
one
for the
of them
purpose.
is pedal boards.
And by the way, you said that Birds and Bees talk's coming up. I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah, right.
Because I have questions.
I'll do what I can.
Yep.
Yeah.
You just keep referring to a bathing suit area, and I don't know what that means.
Yeah. Well, it's
So here's the thing, guys. So Daniel's got this gorgeous. Look, I mean, can we see this board that Daniel has?
Yeah.
wow.
This is
yeah.
your board,
Let's
Daniel.
Look at
Is
that.
this your-
Oh
hello,
my
this is
gosh.
this
Into
is
the
my
microphone, sir.
This is my personal board. Can we hear what I may move away from the microphone a couple times
Well,
due to
can
excitement.
we first acknowledge Daniel's on the show?
Hello.
I did.
Daniel's.
Yes.
Oh, well, I was working.
I don't mind multiple acknowledgments of me being on the
Go
show.
ahead. No, Dylan, go ahead.
You know
Yeah,
what?
go- please.
Can we get caught up? What day is it?
It is
Okay.
Tuesday?
Thank you guys
Wednesday.
for being here. And going back to you, Daniel.
Okay.
So this is your board, right?
This is my board. This is my personal board.
You take this to gigs.
I take this to gigs. It's pretty quirky, actually. This is not necessarily, and it looks like it's pretty well done, but I built this myself after years of kind of understanding what I want with pedal boards, some stuff that we'll get into, throughout the lesson or throughout the live today. But yeah, I used to have a board that was two times this size. It was a pedal train. It was some huge thing. It probably extended out this way.
Yeah.
Even further, it had a MIDI switching system.
Oh wow, you went like Bradshaw on this.
Oh yeah. Everything
Wow.
was MIDI. Yes, MIDI switch to. And ultimately, what ended up
Dylan's just gonna.
we're loving it.
Yeah.
Ultimately, what I ended up realizing is with a lot of that stuff that was just set in stone, I didn't get to mess around with pedals as much.
Yeah.
I was messing around with tones.
Yeah.
And I like to be able to swap out pedals here.
Swap them out.
So,
Oh whoa!
Yeah.
Whoa! It's a flip top.
It's a
So-
flip
Whoa!
top.
Right, that's like a Zippo.
So this
Yeah.
is this first mortgage and the second mortgage, you
car
guys.
payments,
Right.
student loans.
Yeah.
I feel like I've seen those before.
Yes.
At someone's house.
Yes.
So this is in the DSM-5, actually.
The what?
The DSM-5. It's the
You
clinical
just made that up. You're
diagnostic
just making
manual.
me. I'm Big Bird. Remember?
it's- yeah.
You can't talk to me like that.
And basically
That sounds like a
refer to this
Mercedes.
as anal pedal build.
Okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
you could say.
And it's a classified mental obscurity. Carry on, though. I'm taking notes.
Yeah. So effectively, there is a little bit of obsession that goes on here when you go into caring about what kind of cables are being run, what kind of power supply is being used. Because ultimately the whole point of this is to be making music, right? And being, making good sounds.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, I don't know. But no. Well, hold on. This is important though.
Yeah.
Okay. And this is a talk for another time, but we're just gonna grace one. There are some folks who prefer the gear a little more than the playing.
Absolutely.
Not bad. Not a bad thing. It's a no. I know, Dylan. Bear with me, man.
Yeah.
It's not a bad thing because those people tend to become techs or they open up their own shop.
And
This
they
is-
make money. Right.
And they,
Yeah.
they sleep in
They
their own
make apps,
bed
they
year
get to sleep in their
round.
own bed, and they have, yeah.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, like,
know their
and then
children's
some
names.
are just this balanced version of the two. There's got players that just they like to work on their own gear. They want to do their own pedal boards. They want to do that. I'm not one of those guys. So yeah, I just want just make it go. That's
Yeah.
me. Now,
I'm that.
this
by the
and
way.
you're
Yeah.
like that, Dylan.
Yeah.
So
Sorry.
I'm looking at all this. By the way, I can't even. Well, I guess this one says it's an ego boost, right?
It is an ego boost.
I
Not the
realize
It's
kind
an
that.
ego
that we're used
compressor,
to.
actually. So this pedal, it's the Brad
Paisley.
It's the Brad Paisley. He's endorsed this pedal,
Yeah,
and
okay.
it's literally called an ego compressor. So it's actually the opposite. It's an ego compression.
Oh, I see. Yeah. It compresses the ego.
Yeah.
I have a mom for that.
You know what I mean? Hey, so wait, before you guys go on.
Do we have, oh, yeah, let's say
I
hi to
have a
some
couple
people.
things I want to say. So, Steve Ferguson, are you selling the King of Tones? Steve, this is actually, I look at pedals that are popular and expensive, sort of like cryptocurrency, right? Like, it's whoever's holding it last loses the whatever they have. So, yes, he's selling it. It's all timing. It's about time in the market versus timing the market.
Oh.
Am I selling it?
No,
Are we
you're probably
putting-
not selling it. No, no.
Because that seemed like news to Daniel.
Yeah, I know.
That was enough.
Hello from Northern India. Hey, Bruce. Wow, that's really cool.
Yeah.
Indiana.
Yeah.
Well, you
Indiana,
know,
yeah.
the Hoosiers and all. It's not bad.
Yeah.
And
I
we
feel-
see, and Paul's there from Fallujah. Fallujah? Is that it?
I think Paul
Paul's a friend of mine.
may
Paul's
actually
a
be
friend.
from Fallujah. I have a mom for that.
Thank you. So,
funny.
and then someone's got already has a very techno. Looks like you got power and signal cross at 90 degrees.
Yeah, yeah,
that a
man.
good
Yeah,
thing?
You know what
that
I mean?
is, you know, that's
is-
one of the things that we'll talk about a little bit today.
Okay. All right.
All right,
Because
here
that
we go.
is
Sorry, back in.
Back in.
Okay.
Yep, that is an aspect of wiring your board up. You know, you generally want to keep audio cables and power cables crossing at 90 degrees so that when you don't like it supposedly reduces noise. I am also of the first of all, I want to acknowledge. You can switch back to me.
I like
real
the
quick.
supposedly.
I want to acknowledge that I am not an electrician.
Okay.
And I'm going to reiterate that a couple times throughout the day as our
but you're going to fake it better than I can in terms of that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, our copious amounts of lawyers that we have as a part of this show have advised us to not give out too much electrical
Yeah.
knowledge.
And we want to thank the firm of Dewey, Cheatham, and Howe for sponsoring this episode.
Yeah, because you know, if I don't condone messing with electricity in dangerous ways, but there are things we could do here that we will not be doing.
What? What is this? To what? Yeah. Right.
Two guys with you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All
So,
right. So
carry on.
So
Sorry.
Daniel, I'm sure you have probably an organized way of talking about pedal boards.
Yeah.
Please begin.
Sure. Yeah. So before we get this out of here, because we're gonna start working on Eugene's board in a second. Yeah. To finish up on the thing with crossed power, you know, supposedly the noise is reduced when you don't have parallel lines. I am of the camp that if you have high quality shielded cables, you're not going to necessarily need to worry about that as much. I remember the first pedal board I built. Actually, I took all it was lower quality cables.
Yeah.
And I took all the audio cables and I actually wrapped the power cables around the audio cables, thinking that was going to make kind of like a uniform. Yeah.
Wow.
It ended up becoming a ton of noise.
It's like
and
the Army in 300.
Can we pause? Because there's something
yeah, let's get some more coffee.
Victoria has mentioned. Something very important.
Oh,
Eugene and I are on the wrong sides.
pop this away while you guys.
And that's a serious issue. I'm having a lot of, if you've noticed.
I'll explain why.
Okay.
I'll explain why.
All right.
And that's the key word, have a pop blood vessel in the right eye. And it is not attractive, let me tell you that. In fact, the only thing that's more of an eyesore is my pedal board. So to not be so distracting, I figured I was going to be talking to Daniel anyway in profile. I'm keeping the glasses on, and you're going to see mostly this side. But as soon as it clears up, and the doctor says, I gotta stop slapping myself.
Yeah.
In order for it to clear up.
Yeah.
I'll be fine. But until then, Victoria, just turn your computer around.
I think that's the best thing.
that's the
It's either
only- I
that or
think that's how
watch
to-
the
yeah.
show in a mirror is another way.
Oh,
That's what I'm
that's
thinking
good.
of doing.
that's right. That's how I write all my letters to you.
Right. So you could.
then
Another
you have
option
to-
would be if I wore a mirror, faced you,
Now
then
we're
you watch the mirror in my
now,
shirt.
Now we are Jim Henson and Frank Oz operating the Muppets back in the day.
Absolutely.
Usually they used to have those headbands with mirrors on them.
Yes.
So when they were looking up, they could see the world's perspective from
Right.
the puppet's perspective.
So you guys can have that perspective. So I've been shopping for a mirror shirt,
Oh.
and
Jaime Castaneda in North Hollywood.
is that a good one?
He makes my stage jacket. He can do anything.
Okay.
I'm
All right.
surprised
So,
you don't already have one after that shirt from last week with the polka dots.
oh, I love that shirt. All right. Sorry.
Oh, but hold on. But someone PLU says they kind of like the way we're. We'll mix it around. I'll tell you what. That we'll that's something we'll do.
well, wait till you guys see our psychedelics episode that's coming up.
Yeah,
gonna be really
that's
fun.
It's gonna help you with a lot of traumas. Okay, back to pedals.
Okay,
Back
so
to the
now
pedals.
just remember the pedal board you
Yeah,
saw a
all the
second
nice-
ago.
Oh yeah.
Now cover your eyes. Cover them. Whoa! What is that? What the
Hello.
heck happened here?
Wow.
Was
Okay.
there a fire?
Let me explain.
Yeah, let's hear. I think there needs an explanation.
Yes.
This once did look
Just start with Your Honor.
really. This once did look tight and shiny. It was awesome, and these pedals do fit on this board at the same time, and it can look great.
Yeah.
However, and I actually had somebody kind of put it all together. It's basically 8 pedals that 7 pedals I really like plus a tuner.
Do you own all of these pedals, or are some
I
of
do.
them on layaway?
No,
or
I do.
anything?
I own them.
Okay.
I cherish them. I love them.
Yes.
Yeah, they do look well.
And I have more pedals like in a drawer. I'm just not much of a pedal guy. Okay.
Yeah.
So, and then I took it to a gig, and there was a brownout on my side of the stage. I kid you not. And it was weird because it was these 3 that seemed to be colors. I would press them, the light would turn on, but the effect would not take effect. And then eventually the whole thing just
Yeah,
sagged
isn't that
out.
weird that underpower is actually the worst thing you can do to something?
Is that what happened?
Yeah,
Well,
if you
actually, it is what
underpower
happened.
things. I bet one of the folks here watching knows a lot more about electronics than us. So
Yeah.
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 If
There's
you
gonna be
do-
one, and then that's why we have all the lawyers on.
well, you might forget something
Over in
immediately
the
if you're
other room.
watching this.
Thanks,
Yeah.
Mark Evans. Thank
Yeah.
you for
Thank you.
There's eyesore. Get it. And then Steve Forsgren. Yes, it is a mess. I look. There's a reason why Daniel's looks the way it does, and why we have it here, and then mine looks the way it does.
Right.
We have it. So what it turned out to be was the power supply I had
Yeah.
wasn't supplying enough power for a few of these pedals. Now, what was interesting though, if I just looked at the box, right? I
Right.
just looked at the information.
Right, you would have known that.
9 volt. No. 9 volts, 9 volt. It said
No,
it
no,
seemed-
amps, milliamps, amperes.
and volts.
Amps
watts,
are very
ohms.
important.
All right. Now, so I took the power supply, sent it back to the and great company. They just said, "I'll just send it. We'll make sure it's working. We'll repair it for you." And they did, but it still wasn't right. It still wasn't. These pedals still weren't working. So I ripped the 3 pedals off, and I've just been gigging around with these guys, and just in a hat dash.
What
because
is
I
a
know,
Sully Limited? Is that the guy that landed the plane in the?
Yeah, that actually.
The New York.
Yeah.
plane.
Yeah, it's Captain Sullivan. No, the Sully. It's essentially a boost pedal, a tone pedal, if you will. Sounds great. My friend
all
Adam
the way
Grimm
down.
at Satellite Amplifiers in San Diego,
Oh.
who he's been a friend of mine for decades, and he got a hold of essentially parts of the soundboard from the Ed Sullivan Theater.
Oh wow.
And the transistors from the Fairchild compressors from
Yeah.
that board.
Sure.
And he made a limited run of pedals from those
With those in
transistors.
there. Yeah.
That's pretty
Wow.
So, and he was
So you
really
have a little piece of Sullivan in you.
there's a little bit of Ed Sullivan Theater in that right there.
Yeah.
Now, so that's what the Sully is, by the way.
Yeah.
Any hoozles. So Daniel said, "Well, get the where's the
Oh, yeah,
power
back
supply?"
here.
All right. So then Daniel, who I didn't know he was a pedal board wizard, says, "Oh, I know what
my
power
best.
supply you need." And so I just stopped off at Guitar Center around the corner about 45 minutes ago, actually, and got this. And so Daniel's gonna set me straight. Okay. So anyway, go on.
Yeah.
Daniel, just
So let's talk
explanation.
about why
Guilty with
maybe this
explanation.
was a better choice than the pedal.
There you go. Yeah.
So,
Nope.
oops, my bad. Yeah,
And by the way,
we're working.
and
a
it
little
was
small here.
it was the Voodoo Lab.
Yeah.
What
Pedal Power 2 Plus.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, had worked for like 12 years straight with no problems.
Yeah. Right.
It's a great. So I didn't. Oh yeah, there it is. There's
Yeah.
the old. Yeah.
Look,
Yeah.
if we want to switch over to the other camera
Yeah.
real quick. Yeah, so if you can see right here, you've got this installed in here.
Mm-hmm.
This is the Pedal Power 2 Plus. Great power supply. Everybody has used these. I've used 3 different iterations of those over the course of my 6 pedal boards I've
Wow.
built. They're great. You've used them, Dylan?
I have them now.
Yeah,
Relatively
I have
standard,
a couple
yeah.
I
sitting
have
in my
some
closet.
of them now. At
Yep.
least, yeah.
Yeah, the great pedal power supply. They have now come out with a Pedal Power 3.
Oh.
Yeah.
And what's interesting about it is it's completely different technology than what's inside
Oh,
of
no
the Pedal
kidding.
Power 2. So as we've kind of gotten this boutique pedal boom, we get a lot of the Strymon pedals that were on my board. We
Yeah.
get a lot of these, very highly intricate, filters and step mode sequencers. Basically, what's going into pedals like this or like into the Strymon pedals are mini computers.
Oh, so it's a
And-
lot more than just the old early 80s analog Ibanez delay.
Yeah,
days.
and they
Okay.
don't like to be underpowered.
They
those
don't like
mini
to be
computers.
underpowered. Yeah.
see.
Yeah.
You turn them, and actually, it's interesting because it's interesting that you bring that up. Sometimes a analog pedal, which this Ibanez is an analog pedal, this Sully is also an analog
Yeah,
pedal.
Sure.
A lot of the times, if you do underpower things like this, you get not the intended tone.
You get the brown
but
sound.
Yeah, so Eric Johnson is one player who likes slightly used 9
9
volt
volts.
batteries
9 volt battery.
in his tube screamer, I think
You'll
it is.
see something in
They-
Craigslist every now and then if you're in.
I think
yeah.
actually,
Yeah,
yeah, oh, yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Eugene was maybe trying to do that here.
Oh no, this is
with,
so embarrassing.
With this 9 volt sticking out of this Ibanez here.
because I lost
Well,
the cover.
yeah,
Well,
I mean that's.
We're
should
doing
I just
our
get some
best.
tape?
There was a-
You know what? I think the best course of action is maybe disconnecting this.
Probably don't need.
Can I
it.
see that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh
done.
wow.
It's done.
Yeah. Good.
Got nothing.
All
in there.
right.
Nothing in there.
That was a flavored mochaccino, by the way. That battery.
So anyway, when pedals were majority like this, analog, low milliamp draw.
Sure.
This Pedal Power 2 was great because it didn't have a high requirement of power.
Right.
So now to put this into a little bit of context, the Pedal Power 2 supplies a lot of 9 volts, 12 volt, 18 volt. When we define these voltages versus amps, we can think of voltage like almost like a key. You got to get the correct voltage to utilize the pedal. So
Okay.
when it calls for 9 volt center negative,
Yeah.
we want to give it 9 volt center negative.
So if it says 9, give it 9.
Give it
Okay,
9.
I did that,
Okay.
Dylan.
All right. So I just want to make sure everybody out there understands
Not
that.
a chimp.
Okay. Just-
Some pedals will give you a range. Like I did see, I believe this pedal right here will take up to 10 volts and as low as 7.5 volts.
All right.
This is a vintage Korg phaser.
Yes, indeed.
Very
Okay.
cool.
That's
So
my,
now when
that's
it
my
says
Waylon,
9
my Waylon Jennings sound. I'm sorry, what?
Give it 9, except when you don't. Is that? Yeah.
Well, just paint.
Don't be
These are
difficult.
more paint by numbers.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
All right. I hope everybody's kind of
listen to
penned.
the rules here,
Yeah.
right? With
Listen.
these, they're telling you what they want. What you got?
I
Got a
said,
question?
listen, everyone.
Oh,
He's
listen,
the rules.
everyone. Yep. Now the other term. I mean, there's 4 terms when it comes to power. There's volts. There's amperage. There's wattage, and
More.
then there's
The term
ohms.
more goes in front of it a lot.
The term more.
More power.
More power.
Yeah.
More power to you. Watts and ohms we can kind of omit right now. Watts, a lot of times we talk about that with guitar amplifiers.
Right.
Yeah.
Watts is milliamps times voltage.
Right.
So that's how you get that. That's a whole different thing.
One of our viewers is just gonna be like a linesman or something, and they're gonna destroy us.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
true. It's true. Yeah.
We're ready for it.
Put
us in our place.
Is a measurement of resistance. That's
Ohms, you said?
Ohms.
Ohm.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Ohms is a measurement of resistance.
Okay. Yeah.
That is a completely kind of. It has to do with cables. It has to do with. Has nothing to do with what we're necessarily worrying about here in terms of powering pedals.
Okay.
So we had
can-
one question earlier. I want to
Yeah.
answer it before you continue on. So in terms of getting shocked,
Oh.
you can have 120 volts. I don't recommend this, by the way. This is not legal advice. But you can have 120 volts and 0.01 amps, and you should be fine. But if you have 1 amp and a small amount of voltage,
1 amp
you'll
is a
get
lot.
shocked pretty bad.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
So it's the amperage that actually really allows you to. Think of it sort of like the throttle on a hose.
That's what we say.
almost.
I'm amped up.
That's amphetamine.
Oh, it is. Oh, sorry.
Okay.
I
I may have heard of this.
okay. Never mind.
Yeah.
Scratch
so,
that. Not why-
we're in Hollywood. So, anyways,
That's right.
I think so. Yeah. So that should help with that question. We also had, hey, Greg, it's great to see you, man. And then Marilee says, why are the boards themselves so expensive? Just the board with any pedals is.
I'm pretty sure she meant without any pedals.
Oh, without
Without
any
pedals,
pedals,
yeah.
is like $200. So, Marilee, that's a relatively new change. And when they started to switch to this sort of space-like material,
Super lightweight.
yeah, and then it started to become very popular. and then it got competitive, and
But merely,
Yeah.
the idea here is that you can use. I've seen guys use old skateboards.
I've seen pros, super
pros.
pro people
Cutting
use like
boards.
pieces of wood.
use
Yeah.
a cutting board you got at the thrift store.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I've seen people go to Home Depot and just get a sheet of plastic. I mean, you just need a flat platform you're
Yeah.
gonna cut it to. So don't,
You don't have to do all that.
So, but anyway, but to answer, why are they so expensive? You're looking at specific ones that they've taken into consideration the slats here for the cables to run around through. The fact that this one has legs and it's angled, so that way it's tilted at you when you're. I mean, there's things going on here, but it can get a little pricey, but it doesn't have to.
You also think about the fact that we're in a boutique boom of pedals that cost
Very true.
$200.
Well, how much is a carton of eggs?
Yeah.
Well, no, we're fine now.
Okay, all right,
that was
fine,
that was an
fine.
avian
That
flu
was a thing for a
situation.
while. Okay.
And it was
I
the
don't know if
holidays.
it's still a
It was
thing.
tons of baking.
All right.
Back
All
to
right,
Daniel.
back to power. So anyway, milliamps is another thing that we can start to talk about, as we were talking about amps earlier.
Yeah.
We can think of that as like a budget, right? So if we have a budget of, say, this power supply supplies maybe 200 to 300 milliamps per output, and we need to power each of these pedals. Well, hey, this one right here actually takes 310 milliamps.
Oh.
So we would be underpowering this, and that's why we're having issues.
Because
Yeah.
I was just saying, hey, because by the way, the Pedal Power 2 Plus, if you have it, there's a switch. It's either 9 volt on each input. It's either 9 volt or 12 volts. So Big Bird over here is thinking, the pedal's 9 volt. The switch is on 9 volt. I'm done.
Yeah.
I'm ready to walk away and do a gig.
Most of the time, you're better off overpowering something than underpowering it.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, you'll perfectly get. In fact, we're going
He
to.
said I had to match the. He said it's
Yeah.
best to match the thing.
He did say that.
We are going to overpower half of these because this guy, the budget now with each of these outputs is 500 milliamps,
Right.
which is a nice
and this
amount
guy
to have.
and this power supply just doesn't do that.
It just doesn't do that because this was meant to power things like
oh,
analog
okay.
pedals. Yeah. So
Cool.
yeah, with that, the difference between these two, right? We have the Pedal Power 2 Plus, which was meant to power analog.
Yeah.
These Zumas, or any kind of Strymon
Sure.
power supply, any kind of newer power supply, I'd say released in the last 4 years,
Yeah.
are known as switch mode power supplies.
Oh.
Right? Switch mode is a different style. Yeah, we can unbox it.
I'll say I've never done an unboxing
Yeah.
video.
Should we- should we
Wait. Okay.
Acknowledge the
Go
smell.
over
Also,
it. Wanna go
Mark
over it?
says it's
Oh, wait.
as little as 10 milliamps can hurt.
Wow.
Oh, yeah, I bet.
So get a little bit more.
And you're right, Mr.
Right in
Stemple.
there. There you
Gear
go.
nerds. That's what today's.
Look at that.
Sponsored by Strymon today, huh? No,
It's beautiful.
not yet, but we'd love that.
Not yet.
It's true, Greg.
All right, there you go. There's your new power supply right there.
Yeah.
Look at that.
A beautiful blue.
Nice, sleek.
That is
Nice and
nice.
yeah,
Yeah.
totally. Looks kind of futuristic. Like I'd see this on the space station, maybe.
Yeah.
Powering the astronauts' pedal boards.
Keep going. Yeah, I like it.
So this is actually what I personally use on my pedal board. I don't know if you guys saw it on the last one.
I did. I noticed.
Yeah, this is my favorite power supply. It's a little on the pricier side actually, but I always kind of think that expenditure is worth it to have something that won't necessarily fail.
Take it from a guy who had all of his pedals just. I mean, I go to a gig and then I can't use anything because on the gig I don't have time to figure out which of these variables is the bad one. So actually, fortunately, I
dude.
just chucked the pedal board all together,
And just play
plugged
the
my
gig
telly
without it.
straight into a deluxe,
Yeah.
and had the time of my life.
Yeah. Or
So
you know,
always
wish
bring
you
it-
had.
I don't care
one or
how many
two of the
pedals you have. I don't care how many pedals you have. Have a good amp.
Yeah, if you don't have a good amp, I mean, this is all just
Just a basic little tube combo.
Yeah.
Okay, Daniel, back to you. Sorry.
Yeah. No, but I mean, even to that regard, a while part of the reason why I got into pedals
Thank you,
so
PLU.
much. Tax write-off. There we
tax
go.
write-off. Thanks, Paul.
It's true.
I'm looking. You're looking out.
So part of the reason why I even got into pedals in the first place and why I got so a little obsessive about what the pedal board looks like is I actually had a pedal board failure at a fairly high stakes instance. It was when I was in
Was
college.
it for Obama?
No, actually,
No?
you might have even been at the show.
No, you
It
were
was
there,
never-
Dylan. He's talking about the fact that you were
I
there.
was just
Right,
trying to
okay,
impress
okay.
Dylan. We had just met a little while ago. We went to college together for a couple years, and
That's right.
I'll tell you what, Dylan,
Can
just-
drink like a horse. Okay.
But no, so he was there. It was at a recital in college.
oh.
It was one of my friend's senior recitals, so it was high stakes.
Oh no.
And I come in with a part where I'm just supposed to be supporting him while he is doing his thing. And I come in, hit my, I think it was maybe an E chord.
Uh-huh.
Nothing. And there he is, just naked as all come.
Yeah.
He was physically naked. Physically nude.
okay.
Was that me? I was there.
I think you were there. It was Josh,
Oh,
if you remember Josh.
yeah.
So yeah, and it was a little bit of a tragic moment
Sure.
because I felt
he
like
was relying on
He was
you.
relying on me.
Whoa.
I felt like I let him down. What?
Oh, it was Josh's deal.
It was Josh's deal.
Josh's
I remember
recital.
that.
You remember that?
So
Traumatic experience.
can we piggyback off of that? Because
Sure.
I was at an event with executives from a certain guitar company that maybe some people have heard of.
Okay.
And they are doing the concerts. It's like a jam
they play.
event,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah.
And their bands are playing.
Right.
Okay. Now one of the executives gets up to play and it's everybody's the drums bass, that's a bass. And
I
then
can tell from
he
that.
goes in and it's not
Nothing.
and nothing. And so this could happen to anyone. Anyone.
It happened
No
to
one
me
is immune.
Happened to me on a Dwight gig at Whitewater Amphitheater outside of Austin. Fourth song, I just have no signal. And my tech, of course he has a B board. He has a backup board. But at the time it was just, he even tried swapping the board and that wasn't working enough. Clearly we had a
Bad cable.
it was
Somewhere.
It was something. So
Yeah.
I can't remember. But for the I just I looked
down
at
to one
Dwight,
amp.
and Dwight looked at me. And he just shrugged, and he just nodded at the amp.
Yep.
And we just went straight into
Boom.
the amp. Did the whole show without it. But 8,000 people,
Yeah.
just kind of, hey, what's going on over there with the what's?
I mean, it's a bummer, but it's gonna happen.
It's gonna
That
happen.
and the whole strap coming off the guitar
Yeah.
thing. That's also
That
gonna
one's
happen.
fun.
Or breaking a string. I
Yeah.
mean, as a professional guitar player, you have to have those contingencies
Yeah.
because it's not like it's like, all right,
Right,
pack
that
it
one's
up and
my
let's
fault.
get
I took
headed
you guys
home.
off track. Sorry.
Yeah, you did.
Go ahead.
Did you have a question?
No. I
Okay, you're pointing.
just back to the board.
Back to the board. All right, so something that we were talking about was milliamps.
Mm-hmm.
We were talking about switch mode versus this power supply is known
Yep.
as this is a big word. You ready for this one?
What?
This is a toroidal transformer-based power supply, and that's the old technology.
Did you
right?
say hemorrhoidal?
No, that's the cream I think you need to pick up later.
Okay.
All right, but this is a little bit of a heavier power supply too.
Yeah.
So between being able to adequately power all of your stuff and switching over to this, which will give you
It's physically light.
He's saying
it's
physically
light.
heavier,
Yep.
folks, not heavy metal heavier.
Yeah, not heavy
Calm
metal
down.
heavy.
All right.
So that being said, I think we can start. I've kind of started to tear some stuff up already.
Okay.
But
This
I
is
think we can start to
exciting,
get
This
guys.
is
moving.
exciting.
Do you know the pedal order that you like here, or do we need to make some notes of it?
Okay, so I don't really have much of a preference, oddly enough. See, like I told you, I'm big. Okay, listen, I know that the idea here, and this is a guy who builds pedals. His was putting the Sully first.
Yeah, to
Okay.
get the sound of that.
Well, in case there's some sort of loss of signal, loss of tone, or that, I can always use this at the front to get that back. Sometimes there's some guitars have little preamps
a
inside the
buffer.
guitar. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I would still do that, and then I think it's tone pedals first, and
So
then
you want this first?
this is what I was told.
Okay.
Yeah, go here.
Then the tuner.
No, actually, the tuner much later.
Okay. All right.
But I'm open
Courageous.
to suggestions.
So courageous.
That's a unique one.
I think it was a little more. I don't know. Have fun.
Have fun.
He just wants that first. That's all he knows.
Yeah, I know that. Use that first because I don't always use it on the gig. Sometimes, like I just read the room, thinking, you know what, I can turn the amp up to where I can get what I need.
Yeah.
Don't need this at all.
Yeah.
Okay.
But if I'm in a situation where like, this is a lot smaller than I thought, turn the amp way down, engage this guy, and then he's almost my preamp in a way. So that's why I pretend like he would be a preamp. That's
Yeah.
why he's first. Now, obviously, we can get into, effects chains and all that. So I would assume delays go a little later.
Correct.
So that tradition I believe in.
Cool.
But other than I think this is so cool. This is like a rotary vibe thing. But
Yeah, we should talk about the pedals. Why don't you
little
take
bit.
us through the pedal?
Okay, so
board
I
real quick?
told you what the Sully is.
Oh, John Weebly's got you.
Oh, John.
Look,
Oh, go.
tuner, compressor, overdrive, distortion, modulation, time-based effects.
See
Yeah.
now, yeah, that's I used to do that right there, John. That pretty much was pretty much the idea. Now, so the Sully I told you about. Now this is the Compugilist by Fender. So this is a compression and a distortion pedal in one. You can go use either. This is the pinwheel. So this is essentially like a That's kind of like the uni vibe, the idea that, and I really love this one because you can actually drive it like an old Leslie, actually, and it has a velocity thing to it, so you can lean in and make it sound like a rotating speaker. I love this to get like old B3 tones. Frankly, go to the front pickup, get a little gain, and you can kind of like with your right voices kind of make it sound like a bit of a B3, which is kind of cool if you're on a covers gig and there's not a B3 player, but a song someone calls out Honky Tonk by Bill Doggett, and you can actually mimic the actual B3 part.
Was that Honky Tonk by Donkey Donk?
No.
Okay.
All right.
Right.
And then this is the Mirror Image Delay by Fender. Now I like this one just for wide, spacey, crazy sounds. Also,
that's one of the better pedals for
chorus
sure.
is essentially a time effect.
It is.
And so I like to get slightly chorus sounds if I want. I can get that on here. Also, there's a setting where you can get almost like a double tracked vibe. So if I'm playing like a George Harrison style slide solo, I like to set it for that and kind of give that My Sweet Lord thing. This is the Fender Treverb. So this is tremolo and reverb. I mostly got this because I think the tremolo is
you're not using the
really
reverb
strong.
on that.
I hardly ever use the reverb.
Yeah.
This is an early 80s Korg phaser. I was going to do a gig last year at the Desert 5 spot in Hollywood, and I had a feeling that it was a bunch of singers coming up doing a bunch of songs, so we're like a house band. I knew that the MC of the night likes to do some old Waylon Jennings tunes, so I thought, I need a funky old phaser pedal. I went to my buddy who has a shop in Highland Park called Future Music. I said, I need a phaser pedal, and I have some cash. And he just pointed. It was something. He goes, this is what you need.
Yeah.
I said, okay, you got it. So I got, and this is the Ibanez AD, stands for analog delay 9. And this is maybe the third one I've had in my life. I used to play rockabilly forever, and I went to a shop on La Brea or La Cienega that's no longer there. And the guy said, get this now. And this was back in the 90s. And then I kept just buying them whenever I saw them on the road. And this is the only one that's lasted. This is an old analog pedal, as you pointed out, and it's dirty. Like it actually dirties up my tone. It's actually technically a bad pedal, because a delay pedal is not supposed to affect your tone.
Yeah.
The delay signal is supposed to be nice and clean and exact. This isn't. But I was playing tellies, so it was kind of nice to have something that warmed up the tone.
Yeah.
And then the fact that the delay is not exact kind of gave it. There's a bit of that tape feel, but you're not actually dealing with tape.
Like an EP tape machine.
So this is the one out of all these pedals. This is the one I step on the most on gigs.
What can we? So
And then of course just the beat
tuner
up boss
seems
tuner.
it's probably even more than the other ones actually. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Greg wants to know, curious, what does Eugene's pedalboard cost ballpark?
Oh God. Greg, I don't know, bud.
Which swap meets are near you, Greg?
I don't know, but just do a screen grab and look them up, because
I'll give you a roundabout.
okay,
Ready?
Because honestly, I'll be honest. The Fender pedals, were gifts from Uncle Leo. I don't even know what they list for.
I'm gonna say
200 or so each.
yeah. So it's 8.
You have to look up on. I don't think Adam has any of these
Say about
Sullys, but I don't know if there's any used ones on the market. You'll have to look there. These guys, well, a lot of guys go
I think you
take
get
these
that
to
for
Keeley
$100.
and Keeley does a mod on these.
Yeah, I saw
So, which I just
And now this is not, they reissued this pedal, and this is not a reissue, right?
no.
Yeah, that's an
No, it's
original.
not a reissue.
It's,
Yeah.
You saw the back of it.
That was,
No,
that
that's
was originally
that's the
released in
thing.
Chernobyl.
It's, yeah, for this phaser pedal, I probably spent $100 cash flat because I know the guy. And,
You overpaid. So I think somewhere between 12 and 16, Greg, is where I'm going.
Air towards maybe $200 a pedal.
Yeah.
and then
give or take.
And then this sucker here,
$239.
this power supply lists for about $239.
Yeah.
Did I say that? Was I right?
Yeah, you were totally right.
Oh my
Yeah.
God! Hey, do you guys want some lotto numbers?
I'll tell you what.
Here we go. 7.
Write this down, write this down.
21.
Come on, guys, he's high.
That's funny. Yeah.
Now, here's the thing. I'm talking so much, but
No, it's fine.
On the Dwight gig, this is not the pedal board for the Dwight gig. This is my personal pedal board. If you see me playing a club or something like that, this is what I'll have on hand. The board for the Dwight gig has less than this. It's a couple of Strymons, actually a couple of delays.
Okay.
Is it the Capitan?
El Capitan.
El
yeah.
Capitan.
Great
Yeah.
pedal.
One set for a slapback delay, very
Yeah.
rockabilly. And then we have an identical pedal that's set for a longer delay for a song called 1,000 Miles from Nowhere, which had kind of a chorus time
It's
effect.
a cover. That's a cover, right?
Well, it's Twice's song.
Is it? Oh, I didn't know that.
So when he sings it, it's not a cover.
It's not a cover, right?
But I didn't play guitar on the original, so
Oh.
I guess maybe I'm playing
Okay,
a
fair
cover.
enough. Yeah.
And then there's an EP boost that
Exotic.
well, no, is
Somebody's
it?
exotic.
Oh, I see. Oh,
That's what makes it.
Yeah.
I see them all the time.
Yeah.
And then there's the that plastic Dan Electro tremolo.
Cool.
I don't know what it's called. It costs like $18,
Yeah.
and that's what we use for tremolo.
I mean, sometimes those cheaper pedals.
It
are
works.
You know what? I just got one of those Amazon Basics tube screamers for my birthday.
Oh,
and
cool.
if I'm not on the mic, my bad. I just got an Amazon
Amazon
Basics.
makes a tube screamer?
Yep, Jeff Bezos is in the pedal business.
Oh,
Yep, and it sounds great.
Okay.
It actually sounds fantastic.
that's fun. Well, cool.
As someone who's not, I err on the Klon side than the tube screamer side
what
for
a
sure.
snob.
I know that. I knew that was immediately going to be hit. But you know,
Actually, there's people out there salivating. Klon,
So you guys,
obviously.
anything you guys want to share about your pedal boards?
Yeah, I was
please
gonna
do.
tell us.
I'd like to know what you guys use.
do a quick and if you can in the order like John Waby did, like in the
Ooh.
order.
Yeah.
But yeah, and by the way, at home I still have from an early '80s Boss CE2, a great compression pedal. I don't know. Maybe I'll get a. Oh, we should talk about flyboards later on. So, but let's go back to your
right, here we go.
presentations.
Here we go.
Yeah. So just kind of going to pedal order, I'd say a little bit. I mean, we got a little bit from John Weebly here. Generally, the order that you can kind of think of this in terms of like where you want to lay out is you'd start off with filter effects, right? So a filter effect could be like a wah or maybe an EQ, maybe like a sequenced filter that might be cool. But generally right around there, then gain pedals would come next after that. Gain would I said gain specifically because I didn't want to call it distortion. I would consider compressors part of the gain world.
Yeah.
I could also consider EQs part of the compressor, and I know that was in
Okay,
the
so we
filter
got
area.
wahs, compressors, EQs,
Yeah.
and then what?
Going after that, we have modulation,
Okay.
which would be your choruses, your
Choruses,
phasers.
right.
Would the pinwheel count as a modulation
I
pedal?
would consider that
Okay.
a modulation pedal.
Is the phaser?
The phaser is a
Definitely
modulation pedal.
a
Yep,
modulation
for sure.
pedal.
Okay.
And
Was that
then
a joke?
I'm Big
You know,
Bird.
I
I'm
mean,
asking. I'm an
unbelievable.
innocent. All right.
Unbelievable.
and then the last
Go with the bit, Dylan.
the last pedal that I would put in this chain, or the last classification of pedals is time based. So
This is
this is making sense.
This makes
Oh,
sense.
so wait a minute. So Steve's got wait a minute. So here something up here. So John Scholl says they can be expensive. There are a couple I didn't know this. There's a couple subscription services where you can pay
Wow.
Oh, yeah,
a
I've seen
monthly amount. Is this like Columbia House for pedals?
It's like Warby Parker, but for guitar
Yeah.
pedals.
Yeah.
You pay a
Netflix.
monthly fee,
We give
and
you
you try
12
out pedals and send them back with an option to buy.
for one
Yeah.
penny each, and
no,
then you
don't
have to buy
I
one
don't
pedal.
think that's right.
Okay, all right. Well, that's pretty cool, John. And then PLU pedal order. Yes, it's I like that minimalistic sort of German type
good.
thing. And then Greg will work on that. And Darren, any thoughts on JHS pedals? I own quite a few of those.
JHS
We like
pedals.
them.
Yeah,
We also like full
They're
tone
based in
pedals.
Kansas City.
I think so.
I was just there. I didn't
Yeah.
know that.
Yeah, they've got a great YouTube channel too.
JHS pedals are great. It's almost like they make a series of pedals. Some of them are practically a friend of Brian Whelan, an old friend of the show.
Yeah.
He has a few of them, and he basically uses them as different amps.
Yeah, that's how I use
I
them.
mean, just really kind of like, if I want to go Vox, I use this. If I
Yeah.
want to go, and so that's how good those are.
We're
Yeah.
talking lower, it's called Golden something.
Ooh, I know what you're talking about.
I use it all
It's
the
a
time.
King of Tone style pedal.
Anyway, so then
yeah, the old
Steve's
King
got. I own one of these and I don't know how to say it.
Chocks
It's-
DC7.
No, this word.
Chocks.
Yeah, Chocks.
Come on, Dylan.
CIOCKS, but it's pronounced Chocks. Just go
Yeah.
with it. So he's got that. He's got the Strobo Stomp. Got a buffer. I'll have to ask you about
Chocks.
Diamond. We're moving on. Diamond compressor.
It's a switch mode power supply.
The diamond compressor. That's Superman did that with the piece of coal.
Yeah. Oh, that's good.
He's got
the
a
Timmy. I've got a
Timmy's
Timmy.
that's a great pedal.
Red Llama.
Red Llama.
He's got a
I've seen
Boss
those.
CE
Yeah.
too. Good
That's
for you,
super
Steve.
cool.
So solid.
Source Audio
What?
Collider
Jesus, that
and
sounds-
a looper.
That one's a nice one.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's
Good
a
stuff.
cool
Great pedal board.
Very nice. Very
Super
nice.
cool.
Cool.
I wish they could send us pictures because I want to like judge the wiring on it.
I'm sure they can somehow.
You know?
But okay, so you're gonna build something
Yeah.
out.
So we're gonna build something out. Well, we're gonna try. We're gonna try our best to see what we can do in the next 20 minutes. But to finish the conversation in terms of pedal order, the 4 aspects of categories of pedals that I gave is very rarely, fully observed. You may want to put an EQ very much after your distortion because that can help shape the sound of the distortion. You may want to put a compressor at the very end of the chain for whatever reason.
Just because that would take care of the entire signal.
Maybe.
Well,
I'm just saying,
yeah. So feel free to swap it around. It's a recipe.
Yeah. And a lot of times, I mean, the beautiful thing about pedal boards, and I think the reason why we've seen this boom of pedals in the last, 10 years is these are our personalities.
And so modular.
Yeah,
I mean,
so
really
modular.
It's easier to swap out a pedal than swap
there's a
out an
community around stuff. It's like, oh, you use the Fender stuff. It's pretty good. Oh, wow, you told me about the story of the Selly. There's a beautiful thing about the pedal collection that everybody has. There's some respect to it, which is very cool. And then obviously pedal order that determines what each pedal ends up sounding like. So if I were to order this pedal board, if I were to put it into order, my first question would be, this analog delay, do you use as a slapback?
I do. That's the only way
Almost
I use
exclusively?
it. Exclusively.
So I would put that way before anything. I would maybe consider putting that before drives, but immediately after drives is where I would let it go.
Okay, let's do that.
Yeah. So Ibanez coming after these two
Sure.
would probably be the move.
Okay.
And then second to that, I would say I always like going into the tuner first.
Most people do. I always did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing about that is you have a mute switch with this.
Yeah.
So you can get rid of the noise almost immediately. And then you want to have the most accurate signal possible going into the tuner so that you can tune properly. You don't want like a chorus effect going into there or any kind of overdrive or something so that it sounds different. You want as pure of a sound going in there as possible. And then from there, so right now we have chromatic tuner. We have these two. I would actually put this before this because this has the compressor.
Okay. Let's do that.
We'd go into the Ibanez.
Okay.
Then we go into, I guess this is where we can be a little bit artful. Do you want to go into the pinwheel or the phaser next?
You choose.
Let's go phaser.
Yeah.
Then into the pinwheel.
Okay.
And then the question is to reverb before delay or delay before reverb. I'm always a fan.
What would David Gilmour do?
Age-old question.
Yeah.
I don't know what David Gilmour
Definitely
would do, honestly.
reverb after delay.
I think reverb after delay too.
Us and everyone in history.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow.
I
So
think
it's not
Magellan.
Yeah.
All right, so
Okay.
you
there
want to
go.
order these, and then I'll read some of these while you're ordering.
Yeah,
that.
great. Let's
Okay,
do it.
Good
so
idea,
wait.
Dylan.
Yeah,
So-
great idea.
I'm going to read these off. You guys ready
Okay.
for this? All right, Kevin. Oh, wait a minute. Let me get up here where it's got Jonathan Lingo. Okay. So, Jonathan Lingo, lol. Oh, that's LOL. Got it. My main pedals are Behringer. Hey, Jonathan, listen. You're talking to a guy
Are you a
that
Behringer guy,
parks in a
Dylan?
loading spot for life.
Oh.
Okay?
Wow.
So, don't out-cheat me. Okay? No, I'm with it. Bruce Richard. Go ahead.
He loves the Strymon Cloudburst. It's pricey, but it works with electric and acoustic. I feel like I'm good with it. What does a Cloudburst do? Is that a reverb?
I think that just came out. I'm
What is
not
it?
super aware of it.
It's probably psychedelic.
I don't know what it is.
Not everything is drugs.
We
Dylan.
want to hear that, Bruce.
Jonathan Lingo says with an Azor.
Azor phaser. Now
phaser, I don't know.
that sounds pricey, Jonathan.
Oh
no.
And Steve Forsgren has a wah pedal.
one's on here.
Kevin Dixon. Okay, let's go. Here's his order.
Kevin, yeah. Whoa.
Tuner, Beat Buddy, Looper, monotape delay through a 57 Deluxe. Not much more needed for my telly, in my opinion. Well, there you go. Now, John Scholl has the True Tone power supply, a CAE wah, TC tuner, a Russian pickle, which is
Wait a minute.
that was my what?
It's a condiment, though. It has nothing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Plumes. A rat's bane, which is I think a type of mushroom.
These are really.
Tumus Deluxe, a Walrus Lillian, and Julia Keeley Caverns. He made up some of these.
Yeah, these-
on a Pedal Train Junior. And this is the
Wow.
Pedal Train Junior.
These
right
are
here.
all-
He's
This is the
putting all
Pedal
that
Train
there.
Junior.
That's John. You've really done yourself. So, Jonathan, great stuff. I like the Behringer stuff. I'm totally with it. Honestly, so Behringer owns Midas now. Did you know that?
What's Midas?
It's where you get your oil changed.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
it's not, they're
They make mufflers.
Thank
Oh,
you.
which is good for some of
famous
my
PA
playing.
company that.
Oh, it's a what-
Never mind. That's
it's a-
all right.
all right.
I didn't know we were in that kind of a.
Yeah. I'm Big Bird.
Yeah. So,
know
anyways,
nothing.
so one of the considerations, you guys, when you're making your pedal boards up, is whether or not your inputs and outputs are at the top of the pedals or on the side.
Yeah.
And if you're cutting your own cables, which I can tell you can be a serious issue if you're not really good at it and you don't buy really good cables because they'll break down.
Now, see, I'm a big proponent of cutting your own cables.
Cutting your own cables.
Cutting your own cables. Well, like soldering your cables or having a solderless kit. I think it's really nice, especially when you get more into the complex boards like switcher systems and some of the MIDI stuff. Or if you're just kind of bouncing around, a lot of times if I'm building a board for someone who is playing a lot, I will say, what are your most used pedals? And I'll say, we got to put those down here. Because you don't want to be reaching over and grabbing and having to touch on these.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Was it that? Which one's next? The phaser?
I'm working on it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I can't walk and talk at the same
time.
So
I think it was... And then, so... so now, PLU, you have the same pedals. Wow.
As whom?
As... Just
he just has as everyone, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
But by the way, Dylan, do you remember what your first pedal was?
Man,
I know
my first pedal was it. Do you guys remember when they used to make pedals that were so cheap they didn't have a brand name? It would just say.
It was like my first.
It just said what it did.
Just say.
Right? It just said distortion.
No, it didn't even say the whole word. It said distort. So because they're paying for the letter, man. You know what I mean? We figured out it's a fraction of a penny a letter. Yeah. It was all post-Soviet surplus materials.
Oh, that was the era. Yeah.
So it's still alive.
Remember the Sovtech amps?
Oh, dude.
They were fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. No, so I mean, they had a light glow, a hue around them. But no, it was one of those pedals, and then eventually...
Was that a Chernobyl reference?
Yeah, it was another Chernobyl reference. And then eventually, I actually I saved up all my pennies. I'm serious. Like, saved up, I was mowing lawns and stuff, and bought a Rocktron rack mount. I went from, like, nothing to a rack mount thing, and had no idea what I was doing.
Yeah.
And it was, and it was, I would have been better with just pedals. So, I mean, the cool thing about pedals, you guys, is that they're modular, right? So you can sort of... For anybody that hasn't been playing for a long time or doesn't understand signal flow or any of that, it's like you can really sort of learn.
Just mess around with them.
Individually, you spend a lot of time. Each thing, Marcus Aurelius, each thing unto itself, that's not the quote, but that was Morgan Freeman. But I think that.
Keep going. You're on the street.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
Basically, hey, Michael, great to see you. Basically, it allows you to really understand that effect and what it can do. And I challenge all of you, if you find a pedal you love, you find a pedal you might like, sit down with it and really just kind of try every angle on it and see what you think.
John Waby says, I'll save listing my pedals for the confessional. We'll see.
That's a good point.
We'll see you in the Patreon, John. Lately, I've been using the Mustang GTX amp almost exclusively. Now, I'll tell you what.
Well, so do we.
I did this, for a gig when my pedal board was down, right, and the power supply was gone. I had nothing.
Right.
So I actually took one of the GTXs to the club.
Right.
And it had the foot switch with it. So, and there's 5 buttons on the foot switch. So I basically replicated my pedal board in the GTX.
Yeah, right.
I chose the amp I would have normally used, which was a 65 Deluxe, essentially. And I actually went with the trusted, I went with a compressor, distortion, tremolo, and delay, I think, I somehow kind of chose 5. I made up 5 pedals, and it was fun.
Yeah, and let's be honest. There are things that the GTX does really, really well, right? And there are things that it does okay. And when it comes to the individualized effects, I'll leave it up to you guys. But as a general, just kind of like utility knife, it's not bad at all.
Well, I'll tell you what's really fun if you have the GTX is if that's
right, PLU. You're smart, very smart. I'm getting paid for each one of these. Yeah, Marcus Aurelius. It's still sending me.
No, but the idea is like with the Mustang, you can you can very easily with effects orders. Any of the what you call them amps? What do you call these? Modeling amps. Mess around. Find out do I like my distortion after my delay? Do I want to distort my delay or delay my distort?
Yeah. Well, here we go. So we're in business now. Sorry about that.
We're in business. We're missing a cable.
Just
I
like
don't
that.
know where the other long cable is here. It could have maybe been lost in the ether, but we'll find it. If not, we'll persevere.
What do you mean? Hold on.
We'll find it.
Did you guys see where it went? Did any of you see
did
where
anyone
it went?
see, or did any of you guys take it?
So what do we?
Can't trust anybody.
It's true. Wow. All right. I guess it's just me on here.
Room, by the
Yeah,
way.
it is a tremendously large room.
Wow.
Well, I guess I'll talk a little bit more about cables while these guys are hunting around.
Just patter.
Just
The
patter?
Civil War was neither civil nor a war. Go.
Okay, there we go. So a big question among cables in pedals is, do you go the soldered route or the solderless route? All the cables that I use in my board builds are from a brand called Evidence Audio, and the product is the monorail. They call it the SIS system, screw-in solderless. I prefer solderless just because I am someone who maintains my board and maybe wants to be able to
I'm
maintain...
standing right here, Daniel.
No, I will tell you this from experience. It's nice to be able to know that if you do bust a cable on a gig, you can just clip a
That's
a
pretty.
new.
Oh, you're like a
No,
lizard
that's
with
not
a
how that
tail.
works for
Just
this
it's gonna
guy.
grow back anyway.
This
right?
guy, if something doesn't work, he looks down at it and
Does it?
immediately jettisons
no,
the
that's
plan
not-
of
No, this
using
is all I
it.
have.
So that's
Yeah. Oh
not
no,
gonna
I just
work for
drop
him.
into a fetal position and
Yeah.
cry.
Right.
So this is a
gonna
little
work, huh?
little. We'll find another one though. We'll find another one.
Okay.
It's all good. Yeah. So
that was pretty fast, actually.
Yeah, and you can see now that I've kind of organized it a little bit. You can see how nice it already
Yeah.
looks, right? We've got the cables pretty much in. We're just missing the one that goes from there to there.
Rex could have
But
eaten it, Steve. Yes,
he could have.
That's a good point.
The current signal flow is chromatic tuner, Sully, compugilist, compugilist,
No. Let's go with the first one.
compugilist. Oh, someone, we need the sensors on that one. The analog delay, going into the pin. Oh no, this one goes into the phaser, into the pinwheel.
Yeah.
Mirror image delay.
That's great.
Favor.
I'll never remember that. That's the exciting thing.
Yeah.
But here's what's cool
Let's
about
make up
the
an
way you did
anagram.
this.
CSPM.
a mnemonic device. I don't. But I'm the guy who doesn't care.
Yeah.
So what I do care about though, and this is look how clean this.
Yeah.
is.
It's beautiful.
Other
It's
than
really
just seeing
nice.
this, which makes sense, but it's like it's just I love all the effects
Yeah.
that I think I need for a basic club gig
Right.
are here.
Yep.
And you could use.
yeah.
Yeah. You could.
Yeah,
get,
you could tell. I mean, on my board, I have a lot of those.
No, we saw the board.
tie downs.
Yeah.
We don't need to
We
bring
saw
out
that.
the board.
Thank you.
But I have a lot of these zip ties and tie down systems. I actually have a few of them right here. I just carry them around in this bag.
I have some in my pocket
Look at
right
this.
now. Yeah. I take them to the grocery store.
You know, these are just little simple stick-on.
Can you show everybody closely what these are?
I'm doing
Can you
my
guys
best.
See these?
The zip
How does
tie
this
goes
work?
through here. Now, if I was doing like a paid board for someone,
Is this working?
I would. I don't know. I think you're doing your best though. I respect it. If I was doing a paid board for someone and I was building this out and they wanted it to look really nice and pretty,
Yeah.
I would take something like this and put just a million of them everywhere and
Right.
get all those nice,
Right.
you know, very like
Look,
aesthetically pleasing.
it is
lines.
very aesthetically pleasing. Also, looking at your board, it reduces all anxiety because it
Yeah.
is so clean.
Yeah.
I mean, it really, and that's what this does for me. Honestly, I mean, I had agita from how it looked before, but I knew it was temporary
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I knew we were going to do this episode.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and you know, it's not even just an aesthetic choice too, because you know, it's like if we're running and gunning and we have to grab
no.
here, you don't want to break the cable.
Efficiency.
No.
And
Yeah.
so
No,
it's
no,
nice
no.
that it's locked in one place and it's not going to move. So you know that all pedal board builds are done just to simply reduce the variables of things that could go wrong.
There you go.
You know, things can still go wrong. Let's just hope they don't. And we're doing our best to make sure that they don't go wrong with this kind of stuff.
Well, I think that we've racked up quite a few sensor tickets at this point now, and I think that we've done a great job here.
Daniel, thank you so much
Yeah,
for
sure.
solving my life.
And
We'll obviously in a few minutes. It takes a screwdriver. So if you want to flip this upside down,
Yeah.
So the idea here, obviously, so for those of you who have pedal boards, this is redundant, but so we're gonna dismount
wow, look
this.
at that thing, huh?
Yeah. So Can
you guys see that?
I got a screw loose. What?
Well, this is different than mine. I guess you have to drill into the deal.
Yeah, you have to
put
drill
that in
into
there.
it.
And then we're gonna put this here, and then we've got a bunch of these
Cables, that'll
Cables.
work. Yep.
Run the powers.
Run the powers.
It's pretty self-explanatory.
And I have a gig on Friday night, and I can't wait.
Oops.
Oh well, that's
We might
that's
put
just
some
part
more,
of that's sort of natural.
more
That's-
Velcro.
We'll put some more.
You
Velcro
want
on
that
there,
to
yeah.
happen, actually.
I want that to go.
Yeah, you don't listen. So okay, Jonathan Lingo. I've got an SK8 board for real estate. Yeah, I mean, the cable management thing. You guys would be amazed at like how many pro people I played with, where you look down and you're like, wow, that is a veritable forest of problems,
Yeah.
of potential problems.
Pasta
So,
down there. Yeah.
no switching unit. You know what? I
We also
had
have to-
a board with a switching unit
Me
for
too.
years, and
Wait, explain what that is.
it's okay. So you can have a switching unit that is MIDI connected, so it connects to the MIDI that's in like your Strymon pedals or whatever type of pedals, and you can have a switching unit that's not. That it's just what it does. It groups pedals together, and you can make presets on each one of these. So it you know, if you end up changing your mind a lot, it's not a very. But if you're going on tour.
Well, I know, like Jason Isbell, his rig,
Yeah.
he has that,
Right.
So, because it's actually switching. It's per song,
Right.
It's a combination
You're
of
done.
effects and which amp.
You're right. Yeah.
It's
So
just- and he doesn't
switcher,
work with a
everything.
set list.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's,
Yeah.
it's pretty intricate. I mean, it's just,
Yeah.
it's all those.
But hey,
options,
when stuff goes wrong with one of those, you guys,
Yeah. Oh,
it's a
stuff
whole thing.
goes
You
wrong.
need to have someone out there with you.
I mean, you need
doing
literally
that.
like NASA's control
Yeah.
group.
Bruce Richard, I thought that was a fast
was a
hour
very
too. I
fast
can't
hour.
believe
Yeah.
we're done.
Yeah.
I am
Great job,
disappointed
buddy.
with how little I got done, but we talked.
Well, no,
we had a
we
lot
talk-
of good talking.
No, we got to talk.
Yeah.
So everybody, thank you so much. We want to remind you that we will be here next week. Do we have a guest next week? No, it's the week
No,
after.
we do. Molly Miller.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Will be
Oh,
on
no,
next
yeah,
week.
Mo-
you guys.
yeah,
Cool.
Dr.
The
Molly-
fabulous, the wonderful.
Whoa.
Molly Miller will be here, so make sure you tune in. Also, don't forget to visit our Patreon and drop us a few
Well, we
shekels.
want to buy a light. See, look at Eugene's face right now. Do you see that? Well, we can't fix that, but we'd like to buy a light anyways for this entire.
Yeah.
There's things we want. Oh, now come on, we're not doing the Karate Kid thing again. All right,
He
we'll
always
do it.
does
We'll do
this.
it. It's fine. Okay. Wow, this is gonna go. This is gonna go
This is how we go-
R-rated
this is
pretty
how we go-
soon here.
We're going viral.
Yeah.
So you guys, thanks so much for
Yeah.
being here. Have a
Wait,
great week.
And I also I have a YouTube channel
Oh,
in the
yeah, yeah.
description if you guys want to check that out too.
Oh wow.
I also have a pedalboard course that's available
Wow.
online.
Brilliant.
But what I did, there's an aspect of the course that I want to have that's like a gear list. And I put it down there for you guys for free if you want to check it out.
Oh!
It's
That's
all
awesome.
the stuff that I like to use, all the stuff that I've tried and tested and my preferred stuff. Go ahead and check it out if you dig it. If you're trying to build boards, or send me an email if you're like having trouble with your board and yeah,
That's
I'm
a good
happy
idea.
to kind of
That's
check
a
it out.
great
You guys
idea.
are like a great fun community, so I'm happy.
So if you heard
to,
that, he's got in the description. He's got a link to his pedalboard class that you can take,
Yeah.
and it's number 2 pencils.
number 2
And
pencils
then
only.
take some light off of Dylan. I know, give it to Eugene. That's exactly what I've been thinking this whole time. And then also,
He is pretty.
he's
He's got 2 lights.
yeah. Well, and that's the thing. We're still waiting. Anyway, so
Where'd that ego compressor pedal go?
anyways, you guys, thanks so much for being here. Join the Patreon if you can.
Yeah.
Also, like this video and share it with all of your family members in an insisting and annoying way. And if you enjoyed today's show, give us a P for pedals.
A PP
P for
oh,
pedals.
yeah, in the chat.
There you go, P.
Yeah, tell
5
John.
P's,
Tell
no
Daniel
more, no
he
less.
did a good job. Here we go.
Yeah,
2, 3, 4. Wayne's World.
Well, I didn't know what
Wayne's
we were doing.
World.
Okay.
Party time.
Yeah.
Excellent.
All right. See you guys in the
Bye,
post show on
everybody.
Patreon.
All right. See you next